going on, guys? And welcome to the Bench is Cleared podcast, episode 90. I'm Tyler Coe, representing the 2021 NLCS winner, Los Angeles Dodgers.
And I'm Jesse Gutierrez, and I represent the side of the 2021 NL West Division champion, San Francisco Giants.
And guess what? That doesn't mean a goddamn fucking thing anymore. Just like I said in the last episode, Dodgers were going to come out and win.
All season to be right. Yeah.
What? Hey, what did I say? What did I say all season long? Enjoy it while it lasts. I hope you enjoyed the 168 games, but it's fucking over now.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Hey, buddy.
What was it? They got in first place in April, and then it was, give it 2 weeks. And then it was always, just 1 more week, 2 more weeks, just 3 more weeks. And then finally it happened. And say, see, I told you.
And what did you learn? What did you learn? Being in first place doesn't mean a goddamn thing.
What did I learn? Get the fuck out of here. I got still hot 3 rings on the finger, kid. Chill out.
Hey, that's the past. That's some old shit. Talk about some new shit. Speaking of new shit,
let's talk about some new shit.
Yeah, why don't you go first? Let's hear the crybaby bullshit first, and then we'll go to the real story.
Oh God, I don't even know where to start with the crybaby bullshit. Honestly,
I bet you don't.
So much crybaby bullshit. I'm gonna start sad boy because I got like 3 talking points. First is it's got to be sad boy. Gosh, I hate to be this guy because I talk so much shit about the umpiring would have changed the game, this and this and this, and you don't know, so you can't say anything like it would have changed the game. But how fucking heartbreaking it is to end a 107 win team's season on the worst check swing that has ever been called between these two teams. Why is it the worst? Because it meant the most. Okay. Oh. And please don't come at me with Darren Ruff's check swing that happened 5 months ago when Corey Seager had one after that was worse than Ruff's, got called the opposite way. And then I was told, oh, okay, we're even. Okay, we're even. And then
told by who? Not by me. Not by me.
Everyone on Dodgers Twitter. And first,
well, everyone can eat my shit.
Yes, you.
No, never.
You can eat your own shit. You will eat that cat poop.
Never once.
That cat poop. Yes, you did. Bullshit.
Doubt it.
All right.
Doubt it.
So you can't be even twice. Okay. If you say we're even, then we're even. And not only that, you compare a fucking regular season game to game 5 of the NLDS game. Like, go fuck off. I'm sorry, but please fuck off, because that's just the most ridiculous thing to compare those two.
Man, it seems we've like pulled a Freaky Friday here. You're being all sad boy. Look at me being just, positive Pete over here. Everything's great. My life's awesome. $400 ticket from Dodger Stadium. No big deal. It is what it is. Life goes on.
Yeah,
because the Dodgers are also going on.
Fucking.
There is no God, but all right.
Worse. Yeah,
no such
let's
thing.
Get into that, huh? Let's dissect that instead of this fucking game. That's what I'd rather dissect at this moment. Shit. Anyways, back to my talking points.
Hold on. I want to say something too.
Adjust the crowd.
Before you get into something, the check swing, terrible, awful call, terrible. I don't think anyone can deny that. I mean, if we're being real, yeah, I liked shit posting on Twitter after the game, but honestly, terrible call. And I think all Dodger fans, real fans, I wouldn't want it to end that way. I mean, a game can end on a check swing. That's fine. If it's so obvious, whatever. That one was so obvious that it wasn't a swing. I mean, so that's tough. It would have been so much more gratifying if Scherzer gets Wilmer Flores out, no matter how he gets him out, strikeout, whatever, because that's just definitive. And then there's, all the bitching and moaning like, oh, the umpires were bad. It's a kind of a moot point because there's not that one call that was just so egregious, but it was. And it was such a good series, and it kind of ends on a sour note. I mean, I'm happier than shit because we're moving on. Right. But yeah, I mean,
you take it.
Of course. But if roles are reversed, first of all, we wouldn't be having this podcast because I would have probably thrown my computer across the room and cost me $2,000. But it kind of sours the moment for a little bit, but again, I'm happier than shit. But I empathize with all Giants fans.
Right.
I really do. I
And I
understand
think
where their anger is coming from, of course.
and it's a lot more frustrating with the end of the season and yada yada yada. But at the same time, that's how we said it on the Darren Ruff check swing. It was like we were literally doing it, watching it live, and the reaction was how I always react, which is no, that wasn't a swing, that wasn't a swing, that wasn't a swing. So you see the side view because you're just hoping that it's that you're because you can't really tell from the front view that well. So and then
Yeah.
when you saw the side view, I was like, oh shit, that was a swing, dude. And we talked about it, and yeah, it's so undeniably a fact that Ruff swung. It's an undeniable fact that Corey Seager swung, and it's an undeniable fact that Wilmer Flores did not swing. So, but you can't be like, well, we would have won. But it's just heartbreaking to be like, this is how it's going to end. Really, 107
Yeah.
wins, Game 5 of an NLDS between 200 win plus
Dude,
teams. Like
and the
to
game
end
was
this
so
way,
good up until that point. I mean,
right?
just so
Oh
close.
god, yeah.
Every pitch felt like this could be the make or break pitch. I mean, you were right. You said you thought it was going to be a 1-run game.
Mhm.
And I mean, it was that the whole
Right.
game. It was a nail biter the whole game.
Right.
So yeah, I
And
mean,
the thing is I was another thing I was talking about, and to bring up another topic that we talked about yesterday. Our boy Robert, I actually watched the game with him. The the man,
my guardian angel.
the knight in shining armor of the night
Uh-huh.
before, and we were talking about it, and in one way, I'm really glad this wasn't a Gabe Kapler made the wrong move type discussion. This wasn't a, you know, at the end of the day, if the shift was just a little bit more, and they get Bellinger out. There's the Dodgers didn't really hit that well. All the hits that they had were like bloop singles. I mean not bloop singles, but just like solid singles. They weren't really
Yeah.
hitting the shit. It's just that's baseball. It's a game of inches. It's a game of feet. It just happened to go the Dodgers' way. It is what it is. I mean, there's nothing you can be upset about. Um, when it comes to the runs they gave up. Logan Webb pitched the shit out of this game, 7 innings. You can't blame
Yep.
Kapler for going to Rogers, who obviously he shut it down. You can't blame him to go into Duvall. He looked dominant just 3 days ago. I even liked the emergency pull Gosman in to shut it down after Duvall because it looked like maybe the Dodgers saw him too much. So back to back, so they were a little more familiar. Um, you know, Ruff's 2 flyouts would have been home runs, and I think it was like 20 ballparks. So like it could have went literally either way. You can't get too upset about the. I mean, there was no bad no bad defensive plays, little nail biters with Flores running to that first there. But at the end of the day, this is where what frustrates me when it comes to um, last season and this season. You also can't be too upset because the Giants only scored 1 run. Like how
Yep.
you can't expect to win 1-run games all the time. I mean, like just scoring one. I mean, that already happened in game 3. So, and then last year, with that whole 5 feet, I mean, a whole foot and a half out of the strike zone, calling Slater on that last pitch to miss the
Yep.
postseason. It's like, but you're also under 500, so you can't be that upset. So heartbreaker to lose it the way they did. It is what it is. I mean, scoring 1 run, a lot of positives. You know, Gabe Kapler made a lot of good moves, especially with the curveball he got with Knable and starting and all that sort of thing. And people are saying, "See, it worked. See, it worked." They were a blue pit away from leaking oil. I don't think that it worked at all. Urias went 4 innings and gave up a run. I don't see. I think that was a terrible strategy. It could have went the other way. I think they just squeaked it out. It was a bad decision, but it worked in spite of the bad decision.
I mean,
Um, so
yeah, I
that's how
mean,
I
but
see it.
that's the tough thing is I didn't like it either, but
Right.
it worked. I mean, I don't think it was like some genius plan because if you look at it, Posey got that double in the the first or second inning or whatever it was, and that's what we were trying to avoid was Urias seeing Posey too early. So he hits that one off the wall, and I mean, it was kind of close to going out, and it takes that carom, which I thought he was going to take 3. I mean, that bounced so
Posey
far
ain't
over
going
Mookie,
no way.
but I know Posey has no speed. Believe me, I know that.
Right.
But the way that ball bounced, it went so far from Mookie. But I think it's just they don't want to run on Mookie because they've seen his arm this series and all season. But I think, yeah, but I think Posey could have made it there. But dude, there's just so many. It's when a game like this happens, it's you're able to kind of analyze every little thing.
Right.
And dude, really, I mean, it really seems like it came down to, dude, the game was kind of lost on Duvall hitting Justin Turner. I mean, kind of definitively how it was won. And right. Bellinger, dude, Mookie going 4 for 4 had a huge game. Bellinger essentially erased his entire season and started over tonight. Had the biggest hit of the season, and it was, again, just like you said, a couple feet. If you shift the other way a little bit, that's just a measly ground ball.
Same
it's
thing
a
with
game of inches.
Who else was on base right there? Who else got on base? It was Turner.
Gavin Lux. But
Gavin Lux.
Yeah,
but same thing. A ground ball.
But they weren't even close to that ball. The way they were shifted, they weren't even close to it. But if if you're playing straight up, yeah, of course, that's an out. But that's just not the game anymore. You know?
No, but that's exactly my point. My point is that it could have went either way. And this is my whole point about bringing up that it's a heartbreaker and Ruff's ball could have gone out in 20 stadiums, and that the Dodgers ground balls could have shifted different, or even just like a quarter, a millionth of a second earlier or later that ball's caught. The reason I bring it up is not to discount what the Dodgers did, is to be like, I don't even want to fucking hear from any Giants fans how this season was disappointing. I know a lot of people have been saying if we don't make it out of the first round, it's going to be disappointing. I mean, you're disappointed as a fan. Of course, I'm fucking really disappointed. But to say this season is disappointing, even though they're the best, the record-wise are the best team in baseball, this is not a normal first round where you're facing a normal wild card team. If the Cardinals came in and did it, then yes, I get it. But these are 2 106 and 7 win baseball teams. Anything can happen. It was so evenly matched. It went 5 games. It is what it is. If you look at the season as a disappointment, then I literally don't know what to say about you. I think it's fucking weak, and you're a spoiled little fan. That's
and even from a Dodger perspective, again, no one thought the Giants were going to do this well. If they say they did, they're fucking lying. Right. But dude, the rivalry is back, and as a Dodger fan, you should be fucking stoked. Right. I'm happy we won, but if we lost a few days from now, I would be able to kind of recollect and be like, it's gonna be a fun couple of years, and then you throw into the mix, if the Padres ever get their shit together, the division's gonna be the best division in baseball.
Right. And I think that's one thing to point out too, is a lot of times when you have multiple 100-win season teams in the same division, it's because the other teams in the division are just so shitty. Yeah. But you could say that about the Diamondbacks this year. You can't say that about the Rockies. They go and they swept the Phillies in Philly. They're beating teams left and right. They have one of the best home records in baseball. Yeah, they're not a really good team, but they're not a tanking team either. If you have a division with 2 tanking teams and then a pretty shitty team, then I can understand what you're saying. But you have one team that wasn't even expected to tank and they just were really shitty. And then you have the Rockies, who are a pretty good baseball team, and then the Padres, who were supposed to be one of the best baseball teams. So I think this is extremely special what we saw, and I hope we see it again next year.
I don't. I hope if the Dodgers and Giants ever meet again in the playoffs, I hope it's in the NLCS.
I guarantee.
I hope we get 7. I mean, I don't think you'll ever see a 107 game winner against a 106 game winner. I don't think that's going to happen ever again.
If you were to tell me, hey, Giants are going to win 102 games next year, I'd be like, oh, lock that in right now.
Yeah, of
If they're
course.
going to win 98, lock that in. Let's go. You can't expect 100 wins. That's an amazing season. So that's my point with it's not the normal, best team in baseball getting knocked out in the first round being a letdown or disappointment. This was the two best teams in the league going head to head, and unfortunately, it was the first round.
Yeah. But again, it didn't disappoint until the last pitch. And something I want to harp on in the TBS broadcast at some point, it must have been game 3, maybe game 2. They're talking about a check swing. And I think
Right.
this is the best explanation I've ever heard about a check swing. Is it's not so much the distance at where the bat goes, like if it crosses home plate or whatever, it's judging the intent of the person if they were really swinging.
That
I
has got to be
think
the biggest joke in the world.
no, I think
a
that's
terrible
great.
description. No,
I think that's great because if that were the
It's
case,
terrible.
guess what? That Wilmer Flores one wouldn't even be in fucking question because he clearly that was a check swing.
Right. I think it's where the bat lays up because at the end of the day, there's plenty of times where the bat barely gets off the shoulder, and then the knob, the baseball hits the knob and that's a foul ball. Strike one. Same thing. If you're not intent to swinging, but your bat, you lose, control.
Yeah, but
your
that's
bat,
different because
it's a
that's
fucking strike.
definitive. You can definitively tell, okay, the ball hit the bat. You can't in a moment definitively be
bat
like,
goes.
that ball went 4 millimeters over home plate.
Right.
It's the toughest call in baseball, and unfortunately, it's what ended this game. But
And also, I gotta give just one last thing to my man Logan Webb. Hell of a fucking season. That is my dude. The king shit he was doing about liking tweets. It's very easy for every Dodger fan to be like, "Oh, PEDs," because he got knocked with it when he was in the minor leagues like 3 years ago. Get the fuck out of here. If anyone's getting checked, it's people who have already been popped. And we had this discussion when it happened because this is very early in the podcast. You can't look it up on YouTube, but you can look it up and an episode on regular audio episode on your favorite podcast platform. Little drop there. It's very easy to mix, like when you're taking like it's very easy to have that shit get in your system and not know what's going on.
Yeah, and I don't know if I said this in the episode at the time, but at the time I was working in the supplement industry. So
Right.
there's certain governing boards that are supposed to certify things like NSF certified to make sure there's nothing on a banned list in there. So if you're not taking things that are from those reputable people, it's super easy. But again, I love to shit talk and shit post.
Right.
But I'm, flashing a little bit of sincerity here.
You took Logan Webb's side and you're saying, yeah, and not only that, this is a dude in the minor leagues who was a 4th round pick, so he didn't have a big signing bonus. So he's fucking struggling. He can't exactly, you can't exactly afford to do all the necessary checking of supplements like, Jake Arrieta does is what we talked about.
When you walk into a GNC and you're like, hey, is this certified? The dumbasses who work at GNC or yeah, sure. Yeah, I guess they don't know any better. But yeah, I mean, dude, Logan Webb, he pitched a great game. 2 gems in the playoffs. And it's just like you said, it's tough to win a 1-run game multiple times in a series and also when you only score 1. Yeah. But I mean, you got to give Logan Webb credit. He pitched a hell of a game.
Yep.
The Dodgers also pitched a hell of a game though. I'm not going to let that slide.
No, they did. I mean, I think that they were on the fucking tightrope. I think Doc's strategy was terrible and they won in spite of it. But to pull it off when you're on the ropes that much, that's a huge accomplishment, and that's saying a lot.
Yeah. You all right?
So
you hanging in there, guy?
You know what? It is what it is. It's just very heartbreaking to have it end the way it ended, and it's a very positive season. I'm very excited to root for my Braves this next series.
2 years in a row. Braves fan, big Braves fan.
to make sure my prediction is right that the Braves are going to take out the Dodgers.
I
And if
fucking
not,
doubt it.
hopefully the fucking Red Sox will, because I would absolutely hate to be wearing a Dodger hat to Dodger Stadium next year. So please, Braves,
Man,
um,
so many
do
things
that.
on the line for me. For me
Jocktober, let's
personally,
go.
even.
Yeah.
You know, we had potentially seen Corey Seager in his last game. And then me personally having to wear fucking Giants gear to a Giants Dodger game next year in LA
Yeah, that'd be great.
and get booed and have cans thrown over me, not at me, thrown over me.
Yeah, right.
Just a little goof, you know. That's how we have fun out here in LA. But dude, I mean, now that the Giants season's over, I mean, obviously the Dodgers are charging ahead in the playoffs, but dude, what a fun season as far as the rivalry went.
Yeah.
And I mean, for this podcast specifically, I mean, dude, every episode, you know, was super fun just because every game meant something up until the last game.
Right. There
And
was no
we've
more
never
like,
had
hey,
that.
let's talk about Dodger postseason lineups. And I'm like, hey, just so you know, Joey Bart with the Arizona Fall League is
Yeah.
doing pretty good.
Yeah.
By the way, we went fucking 1-6 this week. So
Ooh. Yeah, I mean, I'm stoked to continue next season. I think it's going to be more of the same of, you know, a close race. I think the Padres, that rivalry still ain't there. So the best rivalry in all of sports will continue. But the Dodger season is also continuing. So we're going to have an NLCS preview soon-ish, I guess.
tomorrow.
Yeah, the series starts on Saturday, so we should probably hop to that pretty quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
Yeah, before we break it down, I mean, yeah, I mean, to talk about this, I mean, we're gonna get into more preview stuff tomorrow, obviously, but to just talk about, you know, this season and how everything went, it's literally beyond my fucking wildest dreams, especially at the beginning of the fucking season. So, it's been great. It's been awesome. You know, the way also we've been growing too, and you know, you guys have been really supporting us. So I don't know, it's a lot nicer to, you know, not be doing all this work and doing this when it's like, you know, just 3.5 people listening, which that was
Yeah,
what it was for a
absolutely.
bit. So
Yeah. Well, you always got to
so
start
it's been
somewhere.
great. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Follow your
to
dreams,
Giant
kids.
fans, to our Giant fans specifically, I know I said the last episode I was going to verbally assault a lot of you and a few of you specifically. I'm not going to because I've
you
had
feel
a
so
change
bad
of
on the check
heart.
swing. Oh, what a
No.
guy.
But the thing is, I hope everyone understands, and I hope, you know, the way you and I talk to one another, I feel like I kind of treat our listeners the same. Because you and I know each other's humor and know we're joking and we can shit talk one another and it doesn't hurt anyone's feelings. So I just want to, you know, clear the air again with all our Giant fans that when I talk shit to you on Twitter or about you, it's all in good fun. We would be nothing without our Giant and Dodger listeners. So I appreciate all of you. It was a good season. I mean, you know, it is what it is. Also, just a little tidbit of the preview. I just saw across the ticker, Max Scherzer is going to start game 1 on Saturday. I thought they were going to maybe go with Tony Gonsolin, but Max Scherzer is starting game 1.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy. Hold on. Walker Buehler would have been off day, game 5, off day. Yeah, it would make sense that he would maybe go again and game. I guess maybe you want to get him game 2 for a full game.
Technically, Scherzer's going on a full rest week because I think the way you look at it is would consider his bullpen day, and because I don't know the exact number of pitches he threw, but it couldn't have been more than 15.
No, it was a pretty short inning. It was I mean that's just a click away. I'm sure I can just look it up real fast, but let's see. This motherfucker Scherzer threw 13 pitches. So yeah, that is probably a light bullpen for him. So yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I think that if the game would have went to extras, I'm sure he probably would have stayed in the game for another 3 to 4 innings, and then that would have made him unavailable for, at least 4 days. I mean, at least 3 days rest. And which I hated that they said that. They were always saying Walker Buehler, oh, it's the first time on 3 days rest, which really fucked me up because I'm like, wait, no, that doesn't make any sense. It's only 1 day short, not 2 days short, but it's always 4 days rest and you pitch on the 5th day.
Yeah, you pitch every 5.
That's what I'm saying. So it's 4 days rest. So is
Yeah.
normal. So they were saying 3 days rest just to fuck with us. All right.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to get into real quick before we wrap this up is like I was talking to a few friends during the game. You know, we could have seen Corey Seager's last game, Kenley Jansen's last game as a Dodger. Is there anyone? There isn't anyone on the Giants like that. Or is Buster Posey? Is his contract?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Up?
Buster Posey could have been his last year as a Giant. I mean, I don't think it's gonna be if I have this weird feeling that Buster Posey might be retiring. He just the comments he's made about, are you going to play next year? And he's like, oh, I got to talk to my family, and just the season they had, he has nothing to fucking prove. I don't want him to, obviously. So it's very possible that's the last time we've seen Buster Posey in a Giants uniform. I mean, just playing in baseball. If he's
Yeah.
playing
Oh,
baseball,
he's
I
not.
think the
He's
Giants are
never
gonna pay
going
a ticket.
anywhere else.
No, I don't think so either.
No.
I think if anything, he might take a 1, maybe 2 more years, but Giants will happily pick that up.
Dude, I don't think there's any way he retires. There's no way. After a 107 win season, dude, he wants to see if this team can pull it off. I think
so
he's
too.
back.
I mean, I hope so too. But at the same time, if they do, this is an off-season topic, but don't sign a backup catcher. You either live or die with Joey Bart. Fucking trade him if you're not going to play him. But anyways, that's last year for Donovan Solano. Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen with Chris Bryant. But
Gosman was on a qualifying offer, wasn't he?
Correct. And then if you go to the pitching staff, it's everybody. Wood, Gosman, DeScalfani, Johnny Cueto's gone.
Jesus.
It's everyone. But at the same time, they signed all these guys to 1-year deals. I would hope and imagine that they're going to re-sign Gosman. I don't think he's going to be as expensive as, but that's a whole nother episode that we're going to get into in the off season. We're not going to go over everything, but it is nice to note that some of these guys might not be back. So we could have saw their last game. It just sucks to end it as a heartbreaker and not a definitive, way it is.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, recap, Dodgers won 2-1. Real quick, I think I said stud of the game was going to be Chris Taylor. I believe that was my guess. Chris Taylor didn't factor. Who did I say?
He did have a little scary. No, I think you did say Chris Taylor. I was just talking shit to you about Justin Turner. But I think Chris Taylor had definitely fly balls that I thought were out 2 times. So yes. So obviously the game, the player of the game was Mookie Betts for you, and obviously it was. Well, actually, maybe Cody Bellinger, even though it was 1 hit, but it was 1 big fucking hit.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, for sure.
And then obviously you got to pick Logan Webb. I'm really excited to see what his career is going to be like, and if the Giants are going to try to lock him up, or might bet on himself and see what the fuck happens, and might get fuck around and get $30 million a year because he's only 24 years old and will be I think he'll be 27 as a free agent, 28 as a free agent. So.
Yep. Well, Dodger fans better get used to him because I think he's going to be around for a long time. But It is what it is. It's going to be a fun couple years. Real quick, last point I want to make. I'm just really curious if Max Muncy is able to swing a bat, because I think if he can swing a bat, he's going to be on that roster. I don't think he's going to play. I think it'll be like a Kirk Gibson situation where he's just in there maybe for a couple pinch hit. But I think if the Dodgers get to the World Series, Muncy's, on there. But that's for a future episode. Just wanted to throw that in there. But I think that's it for the episode. That we'll close the book on the Giants season, and
it is. Thank you, Giants fans, for hanging out with us. And I ask you, please stay with me these next couple episodes to trash and talk shit about the Dodgers and root for the Braves. And hopefully they get knocked out by the Braves, and we're just hanging out talking about the World Series. Because even if the Dodgers don't make it, which they
Dodgers in 6, baby,
we're still gonna hang out and talk. Maybe do an episode on the World Series. So, yes, please stick with us and have my back a little bit. I appreciate you.
You gotta stay tuned at least for the next episode, because that's when we're announcing a Jay Jackson autographed baseball giveaway. So now you know who it is, but you're gonna have to listen next episode to see what you're gonna have to do to get it. And I know you want that baseball. I got one personally for me. but you can also have one, and I want it, and you want it. So make sure you stick
We all
around
want
for the next episode. This episode was brought to you by Renovation Candle Company, where you can get your fall candles, also holiday and Christmas candles, releasing October 22nd, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So make sure you set your calendars. Go check that out.
Renovation candles, candles for Santa. All right.
Man, you're the jingle king, dude. Why don't you just quit the podcast? You got a career in jingles, kid.
Pay for this kitchen. Yeah. Thank you so much for listening and sticking with us all year. Make sure to subscribe to us on your favorite podcasting platform as well as YouTube. Follow us on Twitter, Benches Cleared P, Instagram, Benches Cleared Podcast, and TikTok, Benches Cleared. Unfortunately, we are done, but we'll see you next week.
Enjoy your NLS Division Championship.
I will. I don't give a fuck.
It's all you got to show for the year.
Hey, it's a lot more than I was thinking it was going to show, so I'm going to keep it.
It does mean shit.
There's going to be more expectations. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much. We'll see you then.